Hey everyone, how's it going? So let's dive into a really important question. Hopefully you're asking this and thinking this is, who owns the data, or what do you do with the data that I put into our conversation? Let's find that out. Hey chat. So I want to see, oh, hey, I didn't even spell it correctly in chat. Was able to decipher it. Awesome. I want to know what happens to the data that I put in our conversation. See what happens. So as a model, I don't store or share any personal information or data that you provide during our conversation. Once our conversation is over, any text that you have shared with me will be deleted and won't be stored or used with any or for any other purpose. Okay, that sounds pretty good, or at least some good insight there. However, it's important to note that our conversation is still being processed by the open AI system, and the information may be used to improve the AI model and enhance its capabilities. Well, maybe. What does maybe mean? We're going to dive into that. This is done by analyzing patterns and trends in data, blah, blah, blah. At OpenAI, we take privacy very seriously. So I want to see this. You said that I don't store the conversation once it's over. Won't be stored. Said you said this, but then you said this. So I'm just saying, hey, you said it won't be stored, but then you said, however, it's important to know that we may do it to improve it. And then what I'm trying to do is not find it as a fault, but saying, what do you mean by that? How can you say that the information I put in is deleted, but yet some information will or may be used to improve the process? I am really confused, and this sounds like speaking out of both sides of your mouth. Now that's a unique phrase. That is an ambiguous statement. We'll see what chat does, because chat, remember, one of the previous videos is chat says my limitation is ambiguity. I apologize for any confusion in my previous statement. Let me clarify. As an AI model, I don't store any personal information or data that you provide during our conversation. And once our conversation over, the specific text that you shared with me is deleted and no longer accessible. However, as part of ongoing efforts to improve the system and enhance capabilities, the text of our conversation, along with other anonymized data, may be used by OpenAI research to train and develop new machine learning models. That doesn't make sense. It's important to know that any data used in this way will always be anonymous, meaning that it does not include any personal identifiable information. Additionally, OpenAI takes data privacy very seriously and has strict protocols, blah, blah, blah. So basically, if I'm understanding what chat's saying, is that our conversation is not kept, but if they do use anything data, it's anonymous to help them grow the model. Interesting. Okay. I need this to be more clear and have zero doubts about my data being used. Let's see what chat says. I completely understand your concerns about data privacy and want to make sure that I provide you with the most accurate information possible. When you converse with me, your personal data is not stored or shared with anybody, and any text you share with me is deleted once our conversation is over. Okay, however, as an AI model, my underlying system uses machine learning algorithms to analyze, understand models and patterns. In order to improve these algorithms and enhance my capabilities, OpenAI may use anonymized data from conversations such as ours. When I say anonymized data, I mean that any information that could be used to identify you is removed from the data before it is used to improve the machine learning algorithms. This means that your data is not to be used, that your personal data is not used in this process and your privacy is protected. OpenAI takes privacy very seriously. Okay, I understand that, chat. Said, but what if you get hacked before the data is... I have not actually heard this word before, so I know anonymized. and it gets out there. Then what? See what happens. OpenAI takes data privacy very seriously, and my apologies. Takes it very seriously and has implemented strict security measures and protocols to prevent anything unauthorized to happen. However, in the unlikely event of a security breach, OpenAI would take immediate action to investigate and address the issue. It's important to note that any data used to improve the OpenAI system is always anonymized before it is ever used. So even in the unlikely event of a data breach, the data would not contain any personal identified information. That means that even if the data was accessed by unauthorized parties, it would not be possible to link the data to any individual user. Okay, I think we've exhausted this a little bit. But at least we can get some confidence saying, okay, well, it makes sense that we're using your system. It may use some of the information anonymously about us, meaning the context of the information, not about us specifically, to help improve the model, which is why we're using it. And obviously that regardless, it is anonymized and anonymized? Anonymized, I think it's anonymized, new word today. And going through that process and really sort of understanding that at the end of the day, the conversation that's there is deleted and it is gone. Now, what's interesting though, is these are all previous conversations. So on the left side here, these are previous conversations I've had. Think of them, it's as interesting to think of, this is a thought process. This conversation with Chat right now is basically ChatGPT, but almost a trained chatbot on this topic with me. Chat already has a full data set of information, but these are specific questions that is focusing Chat's thought process and direction within the data I ask. So when you're having conversations, I would keep them sort of kept to the side if you have a meaningful one where it helps you get information you're looking for. Because this is sort of our own little, even though it's ChatGPT as a whole, this is sort of our own little chatbot specifically on a specific topic that we have started to train. It's an interesting way to think of it. So yeah, anyway, so what do we do with the data? Well, as educators, I personally would probably not put anything personal in here, but I may put an assignment in here and use it to assess things, or put in information that's not identifiable to a student, but something where I can sort of assess what's happening or play with or summarize and really get some other meaningful insights. But based off what Chat says, once the conversation's done and the data is deleted, the data's gone. And if anything is used by AI to improve their algorithm, that it is anonymized and not connected to us at all. So good to know. Hopefully that helps out. And thanks for staying around. Remember, as educators, the point of this is to understand how students, how I should better understand this, how students could be using it, and how they could be misusing it in class as well. Because I really want to help my students and all students and us as educators to just have a well-informed perspective on this, so we don't make irrational, naive decisions, and really can at least have some insight of how it could be used and abused, and obviously how it could be used in our class for the greater good. So anyways, thanks for watching, stay connected, and see you in the next video.